I want to talk about briefly some of the crazy people and reactions and things that will happen or you'll encounter as you begin to really level up and expand your energy, raise your vibration, and really hold more power and more light. Fresh out of the shower. I feel like I channel things when I'm in the shower more. So this was coming through and I feel like someone needs to hear it. So the way I've experienced, I'm just going to speak from my own personal experience with this. When you are in a higher vibration, when you are reclaiming your power, you have a bigger energy. You're holding more light, and it triggers the fuck out of people who are in a dense, contracted energy, specifically people who are holding a lot of shame and lower vibrations, right? Like fear, all of these things. The way this played out in my life was a lot of people out of the blue just like spazzing out when they came into contact with me. I almost felt like I was being singled out. At first, I felt like a victim simply because I didn't understand what was going on. Essentially, what this is it is an is a physical manifestation of your own inner demons and your own distorted thought forms from the past, right? And as you're cleaning up your energy, these have to get purged out and essentially kind of die off. When I first was really noticing this, it was like really obnoxious and in my face, and I was kind of like, what am I doing wrong? I'm working on like my energy big time. Why is this happening? And then when I started to really see it for what it was and really understand it, I wasn't afraid of it, right? Because I realized there wasn't any enemy, right? There are no enemies other than your own fucked up thought forms, right? That get manifested out. Everything's you pushed out. You're creating your entire reality. It's all a simulation in your mind, right? We have to remember that. But then I also was like, oh my God, people have been doing this to me my whole entire life. Like I was gaslit as a child, like very like, really fucked up dynamics essentially. And what it did was, when you're so young and you're conditioned that way, you think there's something wrong with you. And you give your power away. So as I was taking my power back, I was becoming consciously aware of this. And then like all of a sudden, like, oh my gosh, it's been happening my whole the way my guidance has come through as far as understanding this is that, like I said, these people, these enemies, these lower vibrations are physical manifestations of old programming that we've been holding. And when we change our frequency, the frequency we're holding, these darker, some people call them entities, whatever, like just people who are very like on a different level than you because it's just a result of old programming get really triggered. The darkness cannot stand in the light that you're holding and the power. People oftentimes will project a lot of their own internal shame, just like word vomit it onto you. People will try to accuse you of things that actually are what they're doing, right? Sometimes people will just tell you all of their problems, which is also like another form of just dumping onto you, right? And it is your job to maintain your new frequency and energy and realize that this doesn't have anything to do with you. This is old program. Now, that kind of power, which really is love, right? The highest frequency you can embody, divine love, because that's who you are. When you start remembering who you are and embodying that, it really shines a light for people. It highlights where they're holding darkness and they don't like it. And depending on how deep in ego people are, they'll sometimes try to control you. This was something else I had, like people just being really manipulative and like really trying to control. It's like they feel so powerless because they're not in their power, so they try to take yours. We see this happening in the world at large, right? Like what's going on in the world is a manifestation of like narcissism, essentially, right? It's literally the ego run amok, and it's all the distorted old programming pushed out in really fucked up power dynamics, and that is crumbling because we have collectively been anchoring in more light, and it cannot withstand the truth. So as I noticed this happening, I would sometimes get the people projecting things, and I just learned to not take it personally and not take it on. And there were times where I set very firm boundaries. Sometimes you just have to tell people to fuck off and that they're not allowed to treat you in a certain way. In less extreme circumstances, I would say the majority of the time, I just like don't engage. Or like, if it's a situation where you're like kind of, someone's trying to force small talk on you, just kind of let them say their piece and then, okay, bye, like really nice, and just like don't share any of your own information. Like do not feed energy into it. When people come to you complaining, I'm not gonna fucking validate your complaining. Like you'll notice that on my channel, if you are posting negative shit, like depending on what it is, I will just delete and block you. If you're just someone who is out of your power and continuing to complain, like it's not going to get a response from me, not because I don't believe in your potential, but because I believe in your potential, I'm not going to go there with you, right? So you do not engage in that energy. When it comes to people who would like just kind of like dump all their emotional baggage on me and then like ask for advice, I kind of discern like, okay, I don't really think if I actually told them what was going on here, they'd be ready to hear it or understand. Because in those situations, really what's going on is they haven't learned how to validate themselves. They're trying to like ask you for your opinion. And I get it, I'm a coach, but like when people just come up to me out of the blue, or people who know me like indirectly and just like think they're gonna get free coaching, I'm like, no, like if you really want to change your, you'll be asking different questions, right? So if in those cases, if like something comes through and I'm just like, okay, one little tidbit that could be helpful, like, oh, have you considered trying this? And then I lovingly like disconnect and withdraw my energy, and I do not continue to engage with those people either, because these are huge energetic drains. And what you have to understand is this isn't like anyone attacking you. This isn't anyone or anything being wrong. It's literally just old programming, and you're purging it out. And if you continue to engage and get drawn into the drama, or make it mean something about you, or feel obligated to like get sucked into this and like be a source for people who haven't learned. As you actively work on continuing to expand your energy and step into more of your power, really anchor it in, really be acting from a space of love, and really keep evolving, essentially, this will purge out more and more. Like you'll still see people and you'll be able to see through people and what's going on. I don't like, for those of you who are like psychic and intuitive, you see through it right away, but you need to learn, is good energetic hygiene, to not take it on. Don't like repeat things people said in your mind. You kindly reject that, wish them well, and let them deal with it. It will die out. You'll notice that the people who had been like a nuisance in your life either will kind of sometimes cower, they'll see you and like shirk away, like they can't be around you. You make them really uncomfortable, or they completely disappear out of your reality altogether. Again, don't take this like super seriously. There's nothing serious going on. It's just old programming being dissolved. And really what's going on is you're transmuting that with your higher frequency, and you don't need to figure it all out, right? You don't need to take it so personally. So when this was really happening to me, when I was in the like height of this, I got a little disturbed. I was like, is no one real? What's going on? Like, do I even have a tribe of people? What is going, like I was really like confused and like, I don't know, a little bit scared, like, because it was like I realized everything I thought I knew was getting turned upside down. I realized essentially that my whole entire life had been a lie and how brainwashed I had been. And I was just like, for a moment, like, I don't even want to be here. Why am I here? What's going on? But it does get better. There's just like this initial purge. Okay, so I went into a state for a while where I was very paranoid. I think it was good to be really on my own for a while, because I needed to really integrate and like continue my inner work without getting entangled with other people and this old stuff. But there was a point in time where I was a little bit anxious, like trying to figure it out and trying to like overwhelmed, trying to identify like who could I trust, who could I not trust. And this is what I'll tell you about this. I want to end here. I think you don't need to figure it out. You just keep working on you. People will reveal their true colors to you eventually. Okay, like they can't help it. They just kind of word vomits out of them. Like they show their colors, and the more you expand and raise your frequency, like the quicker this turnaround time will be, the quicker the. You don't need to figure it out. That actually wastes a lot of energy and is actually you like hooking back into those old programs and draining and leaking your energy. So you just keep working on you and your energy and your alignment. People will show you their true colors. You got to trust yourself enough and trust that you're going to be led and be able to see things clearly, and you'll know how to handle situations with grace. You don't need to like have these like long drawn out hypothetical conversations in your mind. You know what I'm talking about? Like when you can see through people, right? Just don't take on the energy. Don't worry about it. You will notice certain people will completely transform. Like sometimes people will stay in your life, but they will be radically transformed because your light activated them. Like I said, others will just kind of disappear, okay? Oftentimes you'll be led to move. You'll be put in a new environment with people who are high vibrational and on your frequency. You will meet your tribe. So if you are going through this, don't be depressed, and also don't be afraid. Just know that what's happening is you are literally collapsing an old paradigm, and sometimes that will, in your 3D reality, be an experience of like everything crumbling in front of you, and you're like, whoa, what the fuck is going on? You just stay centered, you stay connected to your soul, you stay connected to spirit, you keep working on your alignment, and trust me, everything will come full circle, okay, and work itself out. Likely this is where you haven't been stepping into your soul work, your purpose, and I shouldn't even say work, just like sharing your gifts, like what you're here to share with the world. You will likely feel called to do that as a means to connect with soul tribe. And hello, this is why we have the internet and all of these platforms, okay? So I hope this was informative for you. This was something that was a big part of my journey, and I was like really alone when I was going through it, and so I know many of you are probably going through that now, and I just wanted to share this with you. I love you.